Island Coastal Aviation is one of the smaller flight schools in Vancouver, and while they're small, they do have a ton of plane availability right now, and I wanted to find out by talking with some students whether or not that convenience is worth it. Let's find out. Hello my friends, I am Adam, welcome back to Late Departure. Today we're talking about Island Coastal Aviation, and this is one of the schools that has been at the top of my list for quite a while here. Of course, for one of the reasons that I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, they have plane availability. They have no waiting lists, which is really hard to find right now, especially as it's becoming summer and almost everyone seems to want to learn how to fly. And because of that, I probably have a little bit more experience talking with them and talking with the instructors there than I do with a lot of other schools. So in addition to the students I talked with, I also have my experience that I can reflect upon while I'm doing this review here. So the students that I talked with, a lot of them had been doing their basic flight instruction there. They've been doing like PPLs and things like that there. And they said, well, the school is small, it's got nice plane availability, fairly safe, policies are pretty standard and reasonable. And for the most part though, there's a lot of freedom. And that can be a good thing and a bad thing, of course. But the good thing, one of the students said in particular that, a lot of things are under the instructor's discretion. So the instructor can help you do things in really flexible ways to help you meet your schedule and your needs. And I experienced this in person as well. When I went in there, I talked with the chief flight instructor, I talked with a flight instructor there, and they were very accommodating, very kind. And for them, it was, I had a really great experience there just talking with them, and it really sounded like they wanted to help me. So that was the good part of it. So in terms of plane and instructor availability, like I said, they have a lot of it. They have probably the most maybe in all of Canada right now. So if you're looking to start right away and you want to get into flying, this is the place you want to go, because you can basically go in there from day one and just start flying, book flights, a lot of availability. And that's a really big advantage in this really busy time. In terms of forcing students to buy stuff, both in my experience and these students' experiences, they haven't done that. They do have the package that you can buy. So in terms of over preparing or giving extra ground time, so the students I talked with, it sounded like that wasn't the case. Actually, some of the students did their solos at way below what the average is. And for the most part, they said that, it can be good and bad. One of the students said they felt like they soloed way before they were ready for it. Which I guess is kind of like the bird approach to it, the bird dropping their baby chick out of the nest to the ground. Hopefully the baby chick will fly before it hits the ground kind of thing. I'm not too wild about that personally. I kind of like the experience where, when I'm ready to do it, I will do it sort of thing. It sounds to me like they are trying to minimize the amount of extra fees that the students are incurring from extra ground time and stuff like that. I got a little bit of a different feeling. Me personally, I kind of felt like, making money was really, really important to them. And they actually the CFI explicitly said at one point that, we need to make money. So they're like, we're going to try to do things as efficiently as we can. And, that's great. That's great that they want to do things efficiently, and efficiently can be good for the students like myself as well. But at the same time, I don't know, I'm not too comfortable with people who I'm paying money to talking about how much they want to make money. So in terms of maintenance, the students said that maintenance was really above board. They actually get their maintenance done at the same place that Pacific Rim does their maintenance, which is very close by at Pitt Meadows. And it's very transparent. They show you all the maintenance records and everything like that. You can check the plane journey logs very freely. And for the most part, the students said that they felt safe in the planes. And that's really the bottom line. The maintenance is done well, it's transparent, students feel safe. And I want to feel safe too, because, I said it many times, I don't want to die for something like a maintenance issue. So it's very important that, every place has solid maintenance. And it seems like Island Coastal Aviation has that covered. One of the things that is sort of an advantage, I guess, or maybe even a disadvantage sometimes, is that you always fly the same planes because you have such a small fleet of aircraft. So that means you get used to the same aircraft. The only issue is if that aircraft has to go for maintenance or something like that, your booking might get canceled, or like if the other aircraft aren't available. I guess that's a good thing. Honestly, I don't mind switching around planes, but at the same time, I think flying the same plane consistently can also be very valuable because, every plane might have a slightly different POH depending on whether it's like a 172N or 172, whatever other models there are. They may have slightly different numbers, slightly different things you need to memorize. I don't really know, again, because I haven't really started, but that's just a consideration that I'm keeping in mind that you might want to as well. In terms of the flight school really helping you meet your goals and set your goals, well, the students I talked with, they couldn't speak to that too much. They said it depends on your instructor for the most part. They felt like they were pretty much taken care of. When I went in person and I talked with the instructor and the CFI, they made it clear that I had a goal and they would help me set that goal in the way and in the time period that I was setting forth. So I think that was really valuable. I like that they really went out of their way to put time aside for me and talk me through it and tell me how they could schedule things for me there. Now, whether or not they can actually schedule it that way and whether or not things would be as good as they told me they would be, of course I can't say because I haven't flown there, but they did take the time to do that. And, again, this wasn't something that a lot of flight schools did. One thing I want to mention is before I went to all the flight schools in Vancouver, I sent out emails to every flight school with all of my questions and concerns. And Island Coastal Aviation was one of the only schools where the CFI took the time to get my email and send back a detailed response answering each of my questions. And I really appreciated that. I think that was really above and beyond what anyone was really doing at any other schools. So that's something you might want to keep in mind, yes, their planes are available. On top of that, they do care about what you want. They might be really concerned with getting money, I guess, so they can grow into a larger flying school. But in the meantime, the bottom line is that they really care about you. All the other flight schools, or most of them, sent me back a formula response, just giving me a copy-paste response that didn't answer any of my questions, and I was not impressed by that at all. That really was one of the things that immediately made me want to just go to Island Coastal and start flying there, because I'm paying a lot of money. I want to make sure that my concerns are heard and that things that I want to do are done in the way that I want to do them. That's very important to me. So that's all for Island Coastal Aviation. Like I said, there wasn't a wait list as of about a few weeks ago. And there might be one pretty soon though, because again, like I say, summer is starting up here. Things are getting super busy. People want to come in and fly. And if you want to come into a school, like for example, Pro IFR and some other schools like that, they have wait lists of anywhere between 6 months to a year. Even Pacific Flying Club, when I talked with the Pacific Flying Club student, as of a month ago, they didn't have a waiting list, but now they do have a waiting list, but it's only maybe a few weeks in duration or so. I actually signed up to the waiting list. I got called a couple weeks later. So this is something that you want to consider. You got to call in, find out what the wait lists are like. This might be your number one concern if you want to start flying this year, this summer, right now, is call up all the flying schools, email them. What does your waiting list look like? How long do I have to wait? Because this could completely turn everything that I'm saying here and all these reviews upside down. Because even though you might really want to go to a certain school, that school's gonna say, sorry, you're gonna have to wait till next year. And if you want to get your career started now, you got to compromise, unfortunately, and that's just the way it is. All in all, Island Coastal Aviation seems like a good school. Definitely check it out. Once again, go to the Facebook BC General Aviation, go to the Flying Canucks Discord. I put links to them in my description here down below. Check them out, ask people, find students from these schools and talk with them. Find out what that school is like right now. That is super, super important. And then you'll be able to find a good flight school for you. As always, thank you for joining me on my late departure. Unfortunately, not very many planes to have any plane breaks, but hopefully next time I do one, we'll have a few more planes. I hope you stay healthy, stay safe. If you're out flying, fly safe, have lots of fun, and I'll see you next time.